Yesterday, we made history. For the first time ever, the Daytona 500 delayed because of weather. Tonight, that guy, Matt Kenseth, adding his name to the history books, becoming the 9th driver to win multiple Daytona 500s. Hello and welcome, everyone, to a very special edition of NASCAR Race Hub. And for all of you that watched the NASCAR on Fox coverage of the Daytona 500, we are glad to have you with us. With Kenny Wallace, Matt Clark, and Hermie Sadler, I'm Adam Alexander. Guys, we've waited long enough. Let's get right to the highlight, okay? Here's what happened tonight. Some 7 hours later, we get the green flag, actually like a 30-hour delay. We were supposed to go at 1:30 yesterday afternoon, 7 p.m. tonight. We finally make it happen. Lap 2, big problems for big stars, Kenny.
We did not expect to see anything like this happen. Elliott Sadler gets into the back of 5-time champion Jimmie Johnson. Danica Patrick, everybody goes sliding. And after it's all said and done, Trevor Bayne is out of it. But here we go. Elliott Sadler into Jimmie Johnson. Now, let's take a look. This is the hit that worries me. Here we go. Stay tuned, watch.
You talk about big star power involved.
Right
Jimmie
there.
Johnson, big-time hit. Kurt Busch out of the race early. Danica Patrick also done. And you can't say enough about the safety of these cars because Jimmie Johnson, as Kenny pointed out, took a huge blow.
Yeah, anytime you turn sideways in the middle of the racetrack, you're very much in harm's way. When you put cars on the racetrack at 200 miles an hour, things are going to happen. But this did not need to happen on lap 2. Unfortunately, it ruined the nights for a lot of good race cars, Adam.
Danica Patrick, as we said, one of those involved, Trevor Bayne and Kurt Busch. And here's what Kyle Busch said after things were cleaned up.
Seriously, are we all kidding ourselves? We just sat around for 36 hours, and we wreck on lap 1.
Jimmie Johnson going to the garage. Danica Patrick going to have to wait to get back out. Trevor Bayne, the defending race winner, done as well.
Yeah, I'm good. You know, the last hit when I got hit in the door was pretty hard, but we're just all trying to make our lane work, and a lot of energy in the lane. I was kind of pushing the 78 a little bit. I could feel some help from behind, and just turned me around, sent me down in the inside lane and back out to the outside lane. And then when I was sitting in the middle of the racetrack, I knew at some point someone was going to come along, and unfortunately, you know, David Reagan, I know where to go, but unfortunately I got drilled by him pretty hard. So, man, I'm just really, really bummed to start the season this way. I don't even think I completed 2.5 miles of green flag racing, so pretty bummed.
Yeah, I'm fine. It was a hard hit. You know, I saw the 48 spinning. My spotter was telling me to get low, slow down, and just couldn't slow down and get low enough. And you know, I'm standing here ready to see the replay to see what kind of bonehead would do a move like that this early in the Daytona 500. So our team had worked so hard. We had a good race car, and we were just content with you know, getting to the finish. And it's very shame to be talking to you this early.
And problems for a man who has won this event before. Ryan Newman on the apron, spinning, but not hitting anything. In this particular accident, the caution would come out. And under caution, watch what happens. Ryan Newman, loose lug nuts, loses a tire. A.J. Allmendinger hits him in the tail end, busting his radiator. You see them going to the garage. Yet another miscue by a team. It goes back to what we talked about, Matt, mental mistakes. On track, Jeff Gordon, the 3-time 500 winner, blowing an engine. He's done early in the 500.
We're blown up, guys. It's all done.
And there had to be concern in the Hendrick camp when that happened.
And Jeff Gordon stated, look, it was a bottom-end problem. We broke a crank bolt, a rod bolt, so something in the bottom end of that motor.
$200,000 goes to the man that leads it halfway. Coming to halfway here, Martin Truex Jr. says, show me the money.
You're going to get the halfway. You've got the halfway clear all around. We'll get that other half now. Thanks for the push, man. That thing's a push, boy. Play some defense now. Let's get after these guys. We've got 100 more.
I wish they had a prize like that for the halfway every week. Those guys get up on the wheel when it comes time to get the cash.
David Stremme up on the wheel here, spinning out and bringing out the caution just past that halfway point. This is where things got interesting. Under caution, Montoya on pit road. And watch as he comes back up to speed on the back straightaway under caution, spinning out in something we've never seen in the history of the 500, Kenny. He hits the safety truck that was pulling a jet dryer.
This is the perfect storm. Juan Pablo said, I have a vibration in my transmission or rear end. The rear wheels lock up on his race car, goes plowing into the jet dryer. Chaos ensued. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was staring. We couldn't believe it. Juan Pablo gets out of his car. He is okay. This is a worn, torn racetrack. Check the racetrack out. At this point, Hermie Sadler, we're worrying, can we get this race going again?
Yeah, and Mike Hilton got on the TV later and said it perfectly. Our first concern was the safety of Juan Montoya and the safety truck driver. The second issue, can this racetrack be saved?
And Juan Montoya made the mandatory trip to the infield care center, and once he came from there, he spoke to the media about what transpired on the racetrack.
But I told him I left the pits after the pit stop and I felt a really weird vibration. We were with the pack, and every time I got on the gas vibrated. So I came back in, they checked all the rear end, they said it was okay. And I got into the back straight, and we were going fourth gear, but we're not even going that fast. And every time I got on the gas, the rear was, like, I could feel the rear really squeezing, and I got on the brakes, travel up. And while I was telling the spotter to have a look how the rear was moving, the car just turned right.
A drama-filled Daytona 500, a red flag, and now we go back green, closing on midnight. 40 laps to go. You knew it would get good at this stage of the race. Matt Kenseth leading, and then we got problems closing on the finish.
Jamie McMurray looks like he may have cut a left rear tire going through the trial. Gets loose, he checks up, starts another chain reaction wreck, Adam.
Took out a bunch of good race cars that no doubt would have been contenders late in the event.
Brad Keselowski tweets after this wreck. He says, I believe what happened to Jamie McMurray was the same thing that happened to Juan Pablo. So, Matt, maybe another transmission failure. His car locks up and he's spinning out.
Well, I actually contacted the guys on pit road during this break right here and talked to them. They thought it might have been a truck arm. There was no indication exactly what was going on. They looked on it, they checked it, but really they'll get back to the shop and hopefully find out what happened.
3 laps to go. You see a crash here involving defending champion Tony Stewart. Ryan Newman was involved. Casey Kane got a piece of the action here. So some more good cars eliminated. Finally, the restart that's going to decide it. A green-white checker. The Daytona 500 going into overtime. Those Roush Fenway cars out front. Matt Kenseth able to hold off Greg Biffle and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and pick up his second win in the Great American Race.